Today I'm going to listen to Claude Vivier's piece Lonely Child, which is for soprano and orchestra. Vivier is a Canadian composer, and this was first performed by the Orchestra of Radio Canada, Vancouver. And Vivier wrote his own texts for this piece. It's double winds. The brass is just 2000. It's unclear here how many percussionists, but the instruments are a rin, a gong, a tam-tam, bass drum, brake drums, vibraphone, and tubular bells. The recommended number of strings is 65432. We have a little bit of a legend here for the extended techniques. So he has a breath mark with a slash, just means like I guess an audible breathing, or a rhythmic breathing. He has a artificial harmonic that's undefined, I guess, and uneven tremolo. Quarter tone accidentals, nothing out of the ordinary there, and then some different glissandi. This sort of he likes these crescendi and diminuendi that have like an outburst at one end. The voice has a lot of interesting trills. So I'm sure you'll recognize these in the performance. It's one of the more memorable things about this piece. So Vivier lived a very short life and died in 1983. Considering how young he was when he died, it's actually quite a large number of works. He was pretty productive, I would say, during his short career. So it's about 50 works. He studied with Gilles Tremblay in Montreal at the Montreal Conservatory, and he received an award from the Canada Council for the Arts in 1971, then left to study in Europe at the Institute of Sonology, Utrecht, with Gottfried Michael Koenig, then at the aforementioned time with Stockhausen in Cologne. Yeah, he developed sort of this highly personalized language, which has since been praised in Canada, mostly in Montreal. I think almost all of his Canadian performances are in Montreal. I've seen Orion live. I think I've also seen Zipangu live. That's more of a chamber work. I haven't had the opportunity. Maybe I have seen this one. The only time I've heard Vivier's work live is in the context of Esprit Orchestra concerts in Toronto. And the Esprit Orchestra did do The Lonely Child, but just this past year I wasn't able to see it. So, Vivier is also known as a spectral composer somewhat. And I think it's not really mentioned here. But yeah, he is known for using spectral techniques in his own way. He has a very strong influence of gamelan music in his later work. I believe he's did a sort of ethnomusicology personal retreat of some sort and studied gamelan, so that's a really big thing in his work. Yeah, so anecdotally, his career in Canada was 5 years long or so, and he had his retreat to study gamelan during that same period, and shortly before he died he moved to Paris to try and expand his career, which actually this is the trajectory of a lot of Canadian composers. And I like this sentence where it says he had exhausted all the orchestras and ensembles he could possibly have been commissioned from in Canada, which is very very real. I mean, I don't know of any. Don't really know of any Canadian composers who continue to be successful past 5 years. I mean, almost all of them either move to Europe or get a university job and essentially like don't get the same commissions anymore. Hopefully you enjoy the piece. I've put the recording or a link to it in the video description, and I'll let you know what I think about this piece after listening to it today. Okay, so this is a really nice score to look at. It's like really a pleasure. I forgot that the score I have has lots of conductor's notes in it, so you can see all kinds of things that had to be worked out in rehearsal. In a lot of ways this piece reminds me of Messiaen. It's very like sort of segmented, and there's a lot of like this sort of additive rhythm thing to it. It's all very slow and obviously like homophonic throughout, and that's sort of, or homorhythmic, and that's sort of what makes it interesting. It really forces you to focus on the harmonies. A lot of Vivier's scores do this, where he has these really dense harmonies around like a melodic line, and each note of the melodic line gets a different harmony, and he'll usually play with like 2 or 3 notes of melody at a time. So if you're playing in these big chords, as a ensemble member, you only have to know your 2 or 3 notes which are participating, and it keeps everybody sort of in their own little lane, and it makes the piece a lot easier to play. So that's one thing that I noticed this time listening through. I thought it was really cool. There's like these 3 interludes with 2 of them with like a harmonic series. There's like the bass solo one, and there's also the one with like the whole ensemble kind of starting with the horns. And then there's also a bass drum harmonic series almost, where the pauses between each bass drum hit are like intervallically arranged in a harmonic series, you could say, right? Like one is 10 beats long, another is 9 beats long, 8/7, 6/5, etc. So I thought that was kind of a fun idea. There's like this sort of parallel between pitch and rhythm made very clearly with these sort of ideas. I swear I've heard this live. I remember hearing that bass solo. Yeah, I did see it because it was in 2016. And this was played paired with an Armory Schaefer piece. I wasn't hallucinating. I did see this piece live. Yeah, and I guess it left an impression because I now have the score.